Yo, listen up, everybody. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. As you can see, I've got the cowboy hat on. That means we're doing another Western. We're going to review another Western. This time it's going to be Dead Man's Walk by Larry McMurtry. Here's the little paperback that I read. There's the hardcover that I keep on my shelf, nice and pretty. Along with the other Larry McMurtry Westerns in the Lonesome Dove series. Lonesome Dove being the first one he wrote. The Streets of Laredo being the second one he wrote. Comanche Moon, the third one he wrote. Dead Man's Walk, the fourth one he wrote. However, that's the order of publication. In chronological order, Dead Man's Walk is actually the first one. In Lonesome Dove and Comanche in the Streets of Laredo, the Cowboys, the Texas Rangers, Woodrow Call and Augustus McCrae, they're a little bit older guys. In Dead Man's Walk, we get to see what they're like as youngsters. It takes place many, many, many years before these other books, when they are just first starting out as Texas Rangers. I'm guessing in their late teens or early 20s is when they're starting out here. So we get to meet our two favorite Western characters. And if you want to go watch my videos about Lonesome Dove and Streets of Laredo, please do. I'll link to them at the end of this video. And you can watch those, and you'll get a sense of how I feel about this series just by watching those videos. And you're going to get a sense of how I feel about the series just by watching this video about this book too. But Augustus McCrae and Woodrow Call, the two greatest characters ever put into fiction throughout the history of the world. And this is not just hyperbole, folks. This is just not me making shit up and pulling stuff out of my ass. Woodrow Call and Augustus McCrae, are seriously the two best written characters in the history of literature, bar none. You cannot argue with me on this because I know what I'm talking about. And hell, these books have won the Pulitzer Prize. So even book critics agree. And anybody that's read the books, you know what I'm talking about. You have to read these four books and follow the adventures of the Texas Rangers named Woodrow Call and Augustus McCrae, because it's fantastic. You will love every minute of it. You will love every word of dialogue exchanged between these two characters, because it is gold. It is perfect. I wish, there's very few book series that I wished I would have written in my life. And I'm telling you, I wished I'd have written these four books. My book is pretty damn good. Don't get me wrong. I'm proud of the stuff I write. But oh my God, if I could have written these four books, the check would have been enormous, and I would have loved it. Because these books have made a lot of money. I'm telling you. First and foremost, I'd be a rich guy right now. I would be a rich guy. But beyond that, just artistically, Larry McMurtry is writing the way I wished I could write. He is what I aspire to. Let's talk about Dead Man's Walk. Now, Lonesome Dove was published in 86. Streets of Laredo in 93. Comanche Moon in 96. Dead Man's Walk somewhere around the early 2000s. And it starts out with Augustus and Woodrow as young Texas Rangers. They get swept up in this adventure from Texas up to Santa Fe, New Mexico, to take Santa Fe back from the Mexicans and as part of the United States or whatever, something along those lines. And they are led by a guy named Caleb Cobb, who's kind of this Mexican pirate. And they're chased by all the bad guys, the Comanche, Buffalo Hump. And by the way, a lot of the characters that come in, that are introduced in this, are in the other books too. So it's kind of fun to get to see the origins of a lot of our characters. Like the Comanche Buffalo Hump, our main bad guy, he's the father of Blue Duck, who's kind of the bad guy in the other books. And, we get to meet Clara and Charles Goodnight and a few of the other people that kind of weave in and out of the story throughout all 4 books. And it's kind of cool because, to see the origins of the Texas Rangers and all that. They go on their adventure to Santa Fe. They start with 200 men. Let me tell you, this adventure goes ass over teapot pretty quick, as everything in a Larry McMurtry Western does. There's starvation. They're getting chased by wild animals. They're getting chased by, vengeful Mexicans. They're getting chased by Indians. They're getting chased by the Comanches. Everybody's after them. Everybody's out to kill them. It's just non-stop adventure novel. One of the reasons I like these Larry McMurtry books, these Lonesome Dove series books, is because each one of them is kind of like a quest adventure, kind of like a Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring quest adventure. But instead of horses and swords, we get horses and pistols. We get cowboys. Instead of knights in shining armor, we get cowboys, and we get gunslingers, and we get bandits, and we get, all of that stuff that's great Western stuff. I mean, it is fantastic. These are like quest novels set in the Old West. I love every single one of them. So they go on this expedition to Santa Fe, and everything goes ass over teapot real quick. Things start happening. People are dying. They can't find any food. Bears are attacking them. Indians are attacking them. Mexicans are attacking them. They end up being forced into this march through the desert, which is called the Dead Man's Walk. And like I said, they start out, I'm not going to give away spoilers, but I will give away this spoiler. They start out with 200 men. By the time the adventure's over, only 5 survivors make it back. And our heroes Woodrow Call and Gus McCrae are 2 of the survivors. I mean, that's not really a spoiler because clearly the next 3 books are all about Woodrow and Gus. So, yeah, But the adventure along the way is fantastic. It doesn't get better. The sense of humor and the interplay between the 2 main characters and all the various other characters, like the Great Western, the whore, whose name is the Great Western. I mean, she's fantastic. She's like make you laugh out loud every time. She goes on the adventure too. This big fat lady goes on the adventure. She's one of the toughest people in the crew. It's great. It's great. And there's a lot of colorful characters that go on this adventure with these guys across the desert, across the Dead Man's Walk. And it's great. It's great. It's reminiscent of Lonesome Dove because, in Lonesome Dove, it was a big, long adventure, a big cattle drive from the bottom of Texas up to Montana. Dead Man's Walk is a big adventure through the desert where it's called the Dead Man's Walk, man. And only 5 survive out of 200. So there you go. It's a survivalist story. It's a Western. It's a comedy. It's an adventure. It's got gunslingers and Mexican bandits. It's got Apache Indians. It's got blood and guts. It's got everything you want if you're a dude and you want to read a book that's just fucking badass. Dead Man's Walk. I gave Lonesome Dove 10 out of 10. This is a 9.5 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. Dead Man's Walk. Go get it.